This is for Module 7, internal and external communication. I used the MindMeister to do this. By the time I got it and saw other people's with all the images, I wanted to start over with something different, but I was too deep into this one. And kind of wish I would use one of the other ones. So I kind of lumped it into internal communication and external communication. If I had another opportunity or some other way to do this in MindMeister too, I would kind of group it into formal and informal as well, based on the literature. So you have our school board here. They communicate. They do have a YouTube channel where they live stream. They have Board Docs, which is a program that they use to release all their minutes. They utilize email and newsletters as well. Our staff, I did incorporate or split them up into two. So certified staff, which would be our teachers, and then our classified staff. Our certified staff communicate primarily via email internally and through Canvas as well, which would be with our students. Our classified staff primarily just use email and text messaging. So I manage a lot of paraprofessionals in the special education department, so I work with them quite a bit through that. Administration communicates internally with us as far as newsletters, email, S'mores, which is a newsletter app. There's also Skyward, where they can put in, that's our student information system. They can put in various notes in there for discipline, as well as medical information, things like that. And then I lump students into internal communication because I feel like there's a lot of times where the students are involved in that internal communication piece within the school via email or Canvas, where their groups are not, other groups are not necessarily involved in that. On the other side, external communication. So how Shawnee Mission South communicates externally with others. Parents, we communicate primarily through Twitter, virtual or in-person meetings, email, newsletters, Canvas, Skyward, informal social media. What I mean by that is like Facebook groups that are typically created, or a simple phone call. Students with our external communication, Twitter as well, Canvas, Skyward, as well as email, utilizing that. Parent organizations, so that is a group that heavily involved here at Shawnee Mission South. They use Twitter a lot. The district uses Twitter a ton. Newsletters, meetings, both virtual or in person. The taxpayers, the other constituents that don't have students here, we do have media outlets, whether it's a local newspaper, the Shawnee Mission Post, or the Kansas City Star. We also have our board meetings, which are done, and the board docs. Those are all accessible to anybody. And then social media. Our Shawnee Mission School District Foundation is super active on Twitter and in social media to highlight kind of things that are being done in the district. And then our other business partners, again, we communicate with them via Twitter, doing shout outs. They do have meetings at our Center for Academic Achievement where our students will highlight things that they've been working on or what their grant money is going to, etc. And then tours of buildings or facilities is kind of how we communicate with business partners. We also have students that go out and work in these places as well. Kind of in looking at the literature, I also wanted to bring about some of the other groups that were mentioned, because there's so many different groups that we get to work with, right? So like teacher advocacy groups and how they impact our staff communication as well as taxpayer communication, and then our policymakers, which are definitely impacting communication. What's being said behind closed doors, and what's being put out to the staff, and what's being put out to staff, and what's being put out to the public. And then our parent advocacy groups as well. We do have very active parent advocacy groups in the Johnson County area, which is where Shawnee Mission South is, and they definitely communicate. And so with Shawnee Mission being in the 3 largest districts in the city, those 3 districts all communicate together as well. We also have our own legislator communication position, who all he does is go to Topeka, I think, and talks to politicians that are impacting our district. So there's lots of kind of interweavings of that. If I had to group things into like formal and informal communication, I would say that our newsletters are much more formal communication, Twitter is much more informal communication, Email can be formal or informal, depending on kind of who it's going to or what the purpose is of that. Any other, Canvas is very informal, I feel like, at times. But for the most part, we have a really good blend of different communication styles.